Have you ever wondered why some Jewish families preserve their wealth across generations, while many others see fortunes disappear within a single lifetime? The answer is not only in what they choose to purchase, but even more in what they deliberately refuse to buy. Certain things remain off their list, regardless of how much money they possess, regardless of social pressure, regardless of trends. And surprisingly, many of the everyday purchases people make without thinking are the very habits that quietly drain their wealth. Today, you will discover 7 things affluent Jews consistently avoid, financial pitfalls they refuse to fall into, and costly mistakes that many people make without realizing it. For more than 20 years, these principles of financial discipline and preservation have been studied and practiced across generations that endured history's greatest challenges, yet continued to prosper. What you are about to learn may feel unexpected, because many of these purchases appear normal. Society encourages them. Everyone around you seems to accept them. Yet those who understand long-term wealth see a different truth. Wealth is not defined by how much you earn, but by how much you retain, and most importantly, by what you choose not to buy. The first thing affluent Jews almost never purchase is a brand new car. It may seem surprising. After all, many successful people drive impressive vehicles. The distinction is not in the car itself, but in whether it is bought new. The moment a new car leaves the dealership, it typically loses between 20 and 30% of its value within minutes. Imagine paying 40,000 euros, driving a short distance, and the value drops to 28,000 euros. 12,000 euros vanish instantly. To those who think long-term, this is an unnecessary loss. A timeless teaching explains that choosing what merely shines instead of what endures leads to losing both. For this reason, vehicles that are 2 or 3 years old with low mileage are preferred. The steep depreciation has already been absorbed by someone else. The same comfort, the same quality, the same function, yet purchased for 30 to 40% less. The difference is not spent. It is invested. Consider the numbers. Buying a new car every 5 years across 30 years, losing 10,000 euros each time through immediate depreciation, results in 60,000 euros gone. Now imagine that same 10,000 euros invested each time, with a 7% annual return. After 30 years, the value grows beyond 200,000 euros, created simply by choosing used cars instead of new ones. Wisdom lies in seeing consequences beyond the present moment. The principle is simple. If something loses value the moment you acquire it, let someone else absorb that loss first. The second thing affluent Jews avoid is purchasing a home larger than their true needs. Society often links the size of a home with the measure of success. Yet a larger house brings larger burdens, higher property taxes, greater maintenance costs, increased heating expenses, more time required for upkeep. Month after month, money flows outward without producing value, often spent to impress people who rarely think about it. A traditional insight teaches that expanding a house often expands one's worries. Instead, homes are chosen according to real needs, rather than ego or comparison. The savings are redirected toward income-producing assets, rental properties, businesses, investments that generate returns rather than expenses. There is a well-known story of a Jewish billionaire in New York who lived in a modest 3-room apartment. When asked why he did not choose a luxurious penthouse, His answer was simple. Why pay for space that will never be used? Everything necessary was already present. Every euro not tied to unused space was free to work elsewhere. Practicality, efficiency, and purpose guided the decision. The guiding rule is clear. Before purchasing a home, calculate the total cost. Not only the price, but taxes, fees, maintenance, and utilities. Then ask whether the space serves real needs or merely appearances. The third thing affluent Jews avoid is purchasing branded items solely for visible logos. Well-known luxury brands are widely recognized, and that recognition is precisely what inflates the price. When someone pays 2,000 euros for a bag displaying a prominent logo, the payment is often not for superior quality, but for public recognition of the expense itself. Quality is valued. Craftsmanship is appreciated. Yet status display is not the goal. Many extremely wealthy individuals dress simply. No visible branding, no display, only durability and excellence. True worth lies in substance rather than appearance. A bag of equal quality without a logo may cost 300 euros instead of 2,000. The difference, 1,700 euros, represents the price of visibility. Invested over 10 years with average returns, that difference alone can grow beyond 3,000 euros. One purchase decision becomes long-term growth. The fourth thing affluent Jews avoid is buying new technology at launch. The newest phone, console, or device attracts immediate attention, and many rush to acquire it first. Yet technology follows a predictable cycle. A product priced at 1,000 euros at release often falls to 700 euros within 6 months and 500 euros within a year, without losing functionality. Patience becomes a financial advantage. Waiting allows early issues to be resolved and prices to settle. The same product is acquired, but with greater value. The rule is straightforward. Avoid purchasing technological products during the first 6 months after release. Time rewards patience. The fifth thing affluent Jews avoid is using credit for pleasure purchases. Credit may be a tool, but it is not used to finance consumption. Yes, but only when it serves a purpose that creates value. A loan used to acquire a rental property can be wise, because the property produces income that repays the debt and continues generating returns. A loan used to purchase a television, however, creates no return at all. Its value declines while interest accumulates. One builds wealth, the other quietly erodes it. A timeless principle from the Talmud expresses this idea with striking clarity. Never enter debt for what diminishes, only for what grows. Its wisdom lies in its simplicity. Borrowing to obtain an asset that appreciates or produces income can strengthen financial standing, as other people's money becomes a tool for building wealth. Borrowing for something that steadily loses value has the opposite effect. Interest is paid on an asset worth less each year. This distinction is absolute. Consider the contrast. A television purchased on credit costs 1,000 euros. After 3 years of payments with interest, the total cost reaches 1,200 euros. Meanwhile, the television's value declines by half. 1,200 euros paid for something now worth 500 euros. Now compare this with an apartment purchased on credit for 100,000 euros. Over 20 years, interest increases the total paid. Yet the apartment produces 500 euros in monthly rent and gradually rises in value. Ultimately, the owner holds an asset worth 150,000 euros that has generated more than 100,000 euros in rental income. The same financial tool, credit, produces entirely different outcomes depending on its purpose. The guiding rule is simple. If a purchase does not generate income, pay in cash or reconsider entirely. Credit is powerful, but only when it builds assets. The sixth thing affluent Jews never purchase is the approval of others. This may be the most expensive, invisible expense people carry. Every purchase made to impress someone else is a transaction where money is exchanged for validation, and validation is rarely worth the price. Luxury dinners meant to display success, extravagant vacations shared online, costly gifts intended to prove generosity. These are not investments in value, but purchases of opinion. Such exchanges are consistently rejected. Another teaching from the Talmud explains that those who chase honor find it slipping away, while those who do not seek it often receive it naturally. True confidence removes the need for external approval. When identity and self-worth are not tied to others' perceptions, financial decisions become rational rather than emotional. There is a well-known account of a wealthy Jewish man invited to a lavish wedding in New York. Guests arrived in extravagant attire. He entered wearing a simple suit. When questioned about his modest appearance despite his wealth, he answered calmly. He had no need to prove his success to people who would not pay his expenses. The rule is direct. Before making any purchase, ask whether it serves you or serves the opinions of others. If it serves only perception, it is unnecessary. The seventh thing affluent Jews never purchase is wasted time. Unlike the previous examples, this is not a physical object, but a choice about how life is spent. Anything that consumes time without creating value is considered a hidden expense. Subscriptions that hold attention for hours without learning or growth represent purchase distraction. Entertainment that absorbs hundreds of hours without purpose represents purchase delay. Applications designed to capture attention indefinitely represent purchase distraction, disguised as convenience. Another teaching from the Talmud states that time is life itself. To waste time is to lose a portion of life that cannot be recovered. Every hour carries an opportunity cost. Time spent in one place cannot be spent elsewhere. Decisions are therefore guided by a simple question. Does this contribute value? Does it educate, connect, or advance meaningful goals? If the answer is no, it is declined. Consider a practical example. A subscription to Netflix may cost 15 euros per month. The financial cost appears small. Yet 3 hours of viewing each day becomes 90 hours each month. More than 1,000 hours each year. Imagine those hours invested in learning a skill, building an enterprise, or strengthening meaningful connections. The true cost lies not in the subscription fee, but in the time exchanged. The rule is clear. Before committing to anything that consumes time, calculate the hours required, and ask whether those hours could produce greater value elsewhere. Let us gather the 7 principles together. 1. A brand new car. Depreciation is paid by someone else. 2. A house larger than necessary. Purchases serve needs, not ego. 3. Branded items bought for logos. Quality is chosen over visibility. 4. Technology purchased at launch. Patience reduces cost and risk. 5. Pleasure purchases made on credit. Borrowing serves only income-producing assets. 6. The approval of others. External opinions are not worth financial sacrifice. 7. Wasted time. Anything that consumes life without creating value is refused. Each principle appears simple, yet their combined impact is profound. Applying even one preserves resources. Applying all transforms financial direction. Wealth endures not because more is earned, but because more is preserved. Strength lies in disciplined refusal, in declining purchases that quietly destroy value. Now these principles are in your hands. The knowledge is the same. The rules are the same. The only remaining question is what you will choose to stop buying. Look closely at your habits. Examine your spending. Identify one change, just one, and remove it this week. Within months, the difference will not be small. It will be visible and meaningful. Because wealth is not created only by increasing income. It is built by preserving resources, limiting unnecessary expenses, and directing effort toward what truly produces value. This understanding has endured across generations. Now the choice is yours. May every step forward from today bring wisdom and prosperity.